Tonight on KGW News, a brother and sister stranded at high tide.
That was extremely scary for mother and father.
A mother watches the rescue play out in front of her eyes.
Plus, players rally around each other when, instead of strikes, the opposing team is accused of throwing out racial slurs.
And later, fed up with the trash littering Portland streets, a big influx of cash could start to make a dent. Your news starts now. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laurel Porter.
And I'm David Mulco, and we begin tonight with new information in a police-involved shooting in Marion County. We have now learned the officer who was shot is stable, and he is expected to survive. The suspect here was killed. This happened at the Flying J truck stop near Aurora. The suspect, now named as Micaiah Clinton from Portland, was wanted for weapons charges. Police say he barricaded himself in a van in the parking lot. Negotiators tried for hours to get Clinton to surrender. Eventually, the SWAT team threw in tear gas. He came out of the van, and that's when shots were fired. A Marion County Sheriff's deputy appears to be one of the people who fired his gun, as he is now on administrative leave. But investigators are not saying whether the suspect also fired shots or if more than one officer fired their guns. We listened through police radio traffic to try to learn more, but there are a few details. Here are snippets of the communication.
Shots fired, shots fired. So 3 minutes to the scene. So multiple minutes to the scene. Here, west light. Minutes are on scene. Suspect is down. One officer involved down.
The officer who was hit is 31-year-old Jesse Ponce with Woodburn Police. He has serious injuries, but is reported to be stable tonight. Oregon State Police, meanwhile, have taken over the investigation.
The number of homicides in the city of Portland this year has now reached 30, a grim toll after 2 more involving guns this weekend. The family of one of those victims, Jose Monroy Castaneda, says he didn't have any enemies and they have no idea why someone would want to hurt him.
You wouldn't imagine this happening to him, of all people. He wasn't part of anything, and I mean, it just seems so random, and it just seems like bad luck. Like he was in just the wrong place at the wrong time.
The father of 4 was killed early Saturday morning near Southeast 136th and Powell. His daughter says he was out for a walk. No word from police about a possible motive in that case. A second person was shot and killed yesterday morning near Southeast 9th and Ash. In that case, police have not released their identity.
The Camas High School JV baseball team is under investigation. They're accused of using racist words and actions during a game against Skyview High School last week. A warning, you may find some of the content in this story offensive. As Catherine Cook reports, now Skyview's coach is criticizing how some at Camas are handling the situation.
Skyview's JV baseball game was rained out Monday, but the varsity team still played. Parents we spoke with say they're just as invested in what's happening and hoping to use it as a teaching moment. A moment of solidarity between Battleground and Skyview High School's varsity baseball teams. Their support Monday night was for Skyview's JV team in response to their game against Camas last Wednesday. The Camas JV baseball team is under investigation for allegedly making racist comments and noises during that game. For now, all JV baseball games are suspended. An excerpt from the letter read, "Harassment, intimidation, and bullying, including racial slurs, are not tolerated in our school community. We will work to make sure that we get to the bottom of this, including assigning discipline as appropriate. Our goal is to make sure that learning happens for our students and that repair and restoration are made to those harmed."
It starts at the home. It's unacceptable.
Rory Spanier's son plays varsity baseball for Skyview. His team was to face Camas last Thursday, the day after the alleged incidents.
We were trying to make heads and tails of it. They finally canceled the game. And, we were prepared. We made up some signs. We were ready to bring some anti-racism signs to the game and stand in solidarity with our players.
On Monday, Skyview baseball coach Seth Johnson posted a statement on Twitter calling it his personal view about what he believes is right. He said in part, Over the past few days with my interactions with Camas, at times I have not felt comfortable with where the investigation was heading. They have taken a stance that numerous words overheard by some Skyview players only rhymed with the N-word, and the ape sounds coming from their dugout throughout the game were instead seal noises. Johnson also said with their words and actions, the players involved lacked situational awareness and empathy regarding a black player on his team and black people in general. Spanier couldn't agree more.
I hope whomever was responsible is held accountable, and I hope that the investigation that is ongoing is taken very seriously, because this is the second time at that high school in this calendar year that something along these lines has happened.
In December, the Benson High School girls basketball coach accused the Camas student section of yelling racial slurs at his players during a game in Camas. An outside investigation by Vancouver Public Schools determined it was likely that inappropriate language was used, but couldn't confirm if racial slurs were used or which students were involved. For now, the investigation into the Camas JV baseball team continues, as does baseball for everyone else. In Vancouver, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Extremely scary for mother and father.
Parents watched in alarm as the Coast Guard and firefighters from Depot Bay teamed up to rescue their two teenagers. The pair became stranded near Whale Cove on the Central Oregon coast Saturday after exploring a cave.
By the time they turned around to come back, it was high tide and it was not safe to travel.
A witness noticed they were in trouble and called 911. Mom first noticed something was wrong when she heard the Coast Guard chopper overhead.
And over and could barely see over the edge of the cliff to where they were.
The brother also taking on the role of rescuer when his younger sister slipped into the ocean.
And my son actually pulled her out of the water and saved her. So I'm so proud of him. And then when they came down to rescue them, he again offered that she get rescued first. And I'm such a proud mom for that.
One by one, the Coast Guard lifted the teens to safety. Both are okay, save a few scrapes and bruises, a bit of a chill, and a lesson they'll never forget.
Never turn your back on the ocean, because the ocean will turn your back to you. And I hope they remember that from now on.
Boy, I think they will. Thank goodness they're okay. Turning to Portland's homeless crisis now, the city is scheduled to move campers out of Laurelhurst Park again this week.
Yeah, crews started the work today, and despite the friction we have seen, campers and neighbors alike say this in and of itself is not a solution. The city posted the eviction notices on Friday. We were there around noon Monday as the contracted company Rapid Response BioClean pulled up. Now, crews told us they were getting ready to clear the garbage and hazardous waste, including needles, by the park. They packed up some of the trash, but then left less than a half hour later, telling our crew they needed police to oversee the camp sweep there.
Many people blame Portland's homeless crisis for the increase in trash in the city. Tonight on The Story, Pat Doris took a look at the issue and found out more help is on the way to try to make the city cleaner.
One of the complaints we often hear from you is about garbage in the greater Portland area. Here's a couple of voicemails we've received.
Every time I'm driving around, I see garbage, tons and tons of garbage. There's cars parked everywhere, people living wherever they want. I write to the city council like about 3 times a week. They're not dealing with anything.
I lost my sympathy when all the garbage was just absolutely getting out of hand. I'm sorry, but it's like, you know what? Take care of your garbage.
Those are just snippets of longer voicemails. Both, though, we're talking about garbage involving those living out on the streets. Now, Portland has an interesting online map that we're showing you right now, showing where they've cleaned up garbage dumps. That's what the green circles on the map show. The purple dots are reported dumps that they could not find. Red means another agency is going to clean it up, and orange is a cleanup they haven't gotten to yet. You can kind of see the Willamette River going through the left side of the map there, and most of the dumps that are reported are on the east side of Portland. By the way, I looked it up, and Metro, the regional government, reports that about 54% of the garbage they clean up comes from residential areas and only 24% from homeless people. That was confusing because it makes it sound like housed people are dumping their trash in homeless areas. But after more research, it seems more likely that it's people who have put out free items that end up then in homeless camps. The rest of the trash, by the way, comes from commercial or unknown sources. And while we're talking about trash, there is a bit of good news here. Metro's garbage squad, which is called RID, has already cleaned up 1,400 sites since January 1st of this year. Last March, it took 39 days for the crew to respond to a reported dump site. Now, it's closer to just 3 days. And you can see these are some before and after pictures here that they sent us. Metro just got $10 million to pick the trash up more quickly. Some of that money will double the number of teams now picking up garbage. They'll go from 6 teams to 12. Some of the money will also go to local governments to help with their trash problems as well. Metro Councilor Duncan Wong said you will start to see things getting better soon.
Yeah, I think you'll start to see results in the coming months and into the summer. The RID patrols that we have at Metro going out now are, again, collecting 3 tons a day, and we'll be adding significantly to that capacity.
What do you think? Do you have illegal dumps near you? Has the government listened to your complaints about it? Send us a note. Our email is thestory@kgw.com. Our phone number is 503-226-5090. I look forward to hearing from you.
And our thanks to Pat for looking into that. Okay.